Hey everybody, this your boy Ziploc. Hope everybody's doing okay. Since I talked about vampires, it's time to get into werewolves. Yes, I do. I like werewolves a little better than vampires because werewolves are just completely. Sometimes they can be completely uncontrollable. They're just wild beasts, and they're just really vicious. They don't, with vampires, they usually portray them as like these pretty, these perfectly pretty guys or pretty girls and stuff like that. But werewolves, they kind of have this like tough look about them, and even in their human form, they kind of have like this scary look about them. And growing up as a kid, watching stuff like Stephen King's Silver Bullet. That movie scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. When I saw that, I was just like, "Oh my god!" Seeing that as a kid, it'll make you piss your pants. And another movie that I liked as a kid, and it was creepy as hell, was Werewolves in London. Man, just those movies like that are great. And then you had Underworld, which portrayed them pretty cool. I like how they refer to them as lycans. And werewolves have different shapes and forms. Like some of them can stand on their hind legs. That's just the two legs, and some of them stand on all fours. Some of them aren't able to stand on hind legs. The ancient ones, like with vampires, the ancient ones, when they transformed, they couldn't go back to human form. They was stuck in that, and I like how they explained that in Underworld. A great franchise. If you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure you have, but if you haven't, pick it up. And then you just got comic book series. There's a comic book series I like by Robert Kirkman, the writer of Invincible. He has a series out called The Astounding Wolfman. Now, this is really cool because it talks about stuff like, they have different classes of werewolves. Like the main character who gets scratched by a werewolf or bitten, he turns into a werewolf one night and he murders basically everyone around him. But eventually there's a vampire who comes along. His name is Zachariah. He's a complete asshole. And, I don't mean to give anything away, but yeah, he's a vampire and he's an asshole. That's all I'm gonna say. If you have read the series, you know what I'm talking about. But the main character, what happens is Zachariah explains that during the first of the month, he will transform into a werewolf, and he will be in like a complete animal state where he just loses control. He can't control it, so he built himself like a machine to keep himself from going ballistic and just keep himself in check. And, he locked himself down because, he can't, so he can't go ballistic on everybody. And it's I'm telling you, this comic book is really gory, and it's a really sad story. The stuff that happens in there is just like, this guy gets screwed over a lot. And it makes for a good story, but man, sometimes I just go, wow. The things he goes through in that book is really crazy. I'd recommend this. Definitely pick it up if you go to your comic book store. I can't stress enough how much I love that book. Another werewolf I like. If you are a big video game fan like I am, the game Bloody War. Hugo. He can, basically every character in Bloody War can change into like a type of animal or stuff like that. But my favorite was Hugo, the main character. He was a wolf. I'm like, bad ass. Now that's what I'm talking about. That's how you do a werewolf. He's just kick ass. When he transforms, and he just whoops ass. I love that character. So if you haven't played Bloody War, pick it up. It's called Beasterizers in Japanese. I don't think they have it now because unfortunately when they sold the franchise to the American Namco, I believe, it died. So, that's a pretty sad thing. But I would have loved for them to continue it, but I guess not. Hopefully it'll get revived. You never know. But yeah, my love for werewolves is just it's crazy. I've loved them ever since I was a kid. You know, they still scare me to this day. But I'm always kind of like pissed that they kind of always portray werewolves as bad guys. Like, you know, I'm gonna give props again to Robert Kirkman for making a good guy from a werewolf. I'm like, they always portray him as bad guys. Even in Hellsing, there's a werewolf called the Captain, and as you can see in the picture, he's a pretty badass werewolf. He gives Alucard some go. If Sarah's Victoria, I should say. But man, I just don't like how they always portray him as the bad guy. It's like, come on now, they're not all like that, you know. I know they're vicious, they can be uncontrollable, but some of them are good guys. I would prefer more werewolf movie. I really hope someone can do like they did with 30 Days of Night for vampires or werewolves. Do something like that. And I think about vampires and werewolves, they kind of share the power. They draw power from the moon. Some of the powers are drawn from the moon, especially werewolves. That's how they transform, of course, at night. But there are the exceptions. Some can transform whenever they please. The ancients, of course. Just like with vampires, some of them can walk in the day, and it's a pretty cool take on a creature like that. You know, whoever came up with the idea, you know, I'm glad they did, because I love that foreplay. And that's pretty much my thoughts on werewolves. I really hope to see more of them. And of course, I don't like how they portray it in Twilight, and I'm not a fan of Twilight, like I said in my vampire video. But you know, when I think of vampires, when I think of werewolves, they're usually vicious creatures, and I love to see them fight. They're pretty cool, but some of them do get along. They're not all just about killing each other. Some of them have actually gotten along, and in an underworld, they breeded an offspring. A vampire and a werewolf breeded an offspring. He's a mixed breed. And they mentioned in the movie that his power could be limitless, and that would be the ultimate. I would love to have that power of vampire and a werewolf, just straight up, kick ass. You can whoop the best from both worlds. And that was a unique. That's my favorite out of the underworld movies. The Evolution. That was just a great movie. And that's pretty much my thoughts on werewolves. I just wanted to get that off my chest. I had to talk about them. I hope to see more of them in cinema, in video games. Yeah, let's get a werewolf video game, That'd be neat. Because I haven't seen one. I think we had a vampire game, of course Blade, but I'm talking about, and Buffy, they had a video game. But I'm talking about just a straight, you can transform into a werewolf. There was a game out called, some Japanese game, you can transform into different creatures. I forget the name of the game, but I forget the name of it. But it was a pretty cool game, and the transformations are really cool, and I always use a werewolf. But if any of you guys know about that game, just let me know. Post it in the comments, and rate my videos as usual. Comment, and you guys take it easy. Next up, I'm gonna be talking about some stuff a couple of people have requested that I talk about, and hopefully I can get some more tributes out. Alright, you guys take it easy.